Hello? Hello? Hmm. Look a little ragged. That's what it is, man. I'm just rag myself. Just a rag. Phew. Someone asked me, what is that all over you with the paint and stuff like that? Don't you get any on canvas? I said, I'm the rag. I get all my paint on the canvas. Well, and I wipe paint back off on me. I got a giant paint I'm working on over here. Can you see it? It's kind of huge. It's 4 foot by 8 foot. Of course, you can't see it so well. Underneath it's another one. I'm just banging out one painting after another. God damn, I got so much to do. Anyways, it's at that time of year, and I thought I would do something really sweet. So I'm going to minus you down. I think I have to do this. Looks like we got more people than new coming in here, and if you're like me, you don't want to go back and read any of that other shit. But maybe catch on as you go because maybe I can do a synopsis of things. But basically, what we do here is we don't think the bad Bible and the stories and stuff like that are wrong. We just don't think they're real, but we did. You know, all of us. In fact, if you want to cross over to the side, you have to believe one time that these guys are real. And to get over on this other side, you have to give that up. But you take on the knowledge of what these people really mean. And this is where you've sown your seed in a way that now you understand what the Bible means, the Word. And you're the Word. And the Bible is all about the works. And if you don't get the works from the outside of the Bible, eventually it reveals itself from the inside of the Bible. So one is called the letter and the other is called the spirit. So that opens up two sides to every story. Now the outside is open to everybody. And 5,000 or more different interpretations. It's a trap. It's also the works. And it was meant to be. And it's not unlike any other text out there that talk about themselves as God, be it the Hebrews or Islam. Their Bibles are all talking about this outside God, uh, who does both give you things and takes things away. But they also associate it with just one. It's only one God. And of course, that's where the beginning of it all messes up. Giving credit to a male energy only. And so most of these are all fathers. All these are the father of these things and the father of that. And in reality, it takes two to tango. So to keep forgetting about mom, and everything's always been about mom. You know, there's this funny little saying that happens throughout the Bible about being saved from that hour. From that hour, just those three words, from that hour. So you Google that in relation to King James Bible, and you'll learn a lot about her because she shows up in that space. She shows up in a lot of stories. Let me get rid of this frog. Oh, or I can drink. This is what a lot of people do in these videos. They take a pause, a moment. Oh, baby Jesus. So, anyways, what you get hurt. You get a lot of threes, you get sixes, and you get nines. All right, that also means there's a 10. I mean, oh wow, I'm just showing. Yeah, you get all these things. Yeah, but three is about joining together, joining the three together. One is about God. All right, and of course the idea of nine in this group here with the woman, that's the female, that's the spiritual side of us, that's the right side of the boat, the uh, uh, where we're supposed to toss our nets over to. So you see, we really don't uh, we don't take the Bible literally, although without the King James Bible written the way it is and interpreted wonderfully the way that they've done it, It's the only Bible that tells us that does both. It poisons us and heals us at the same, not at the same time. The outside, that the word's going to last forever. That's really the spirit in you. You can't get rid of this little energy thing, but you can get rid of this outside of us. Get old and fall apart, and boom, you're gone. That light takes off and does it again. It says, unless you can come across this and die while you're alive, all right, some of the philosophy is that if you can learn to die while you're alive, then when you die, you never die. So there's some kind of wonderful thing about maintaining a law, which is Moses's law of honor and mother and father. And we also are shown how to do this by this stories with Jesus in them in the New Testament, calling it the way. And we find that we are all of these people in this Bible. We are Father. If you can't handle that, then just go on down the road, But Jesus does the will of the Father. All right. And if you can understand that the left side of your mind is your conscious, the part that's we're listening to me and talking, and what we use to develop the world around us and see us. And this is the Father, and all things go through Him. And you have outside kings and queens that are determining what you do, what you can and can't do. And some of those things are religious people, and those represent the Pharisees. And God has no time for them. But He has also going to tell you that you have to go through them to get to Him. Not just with Jesus. But you'll find that, no, none of these people are real, but you are all of them. So when you go into meditation, this is when you have had enough. And you're ready to go and stand before the Lord. Who among you have it in you to go and stand before the Lord? All of us do. Every one of us do. Not everyone wants to do it. But when you go in, then you're judging yourself. That's the Father. That's the self. And He's judging Himself. He's going to go into meditation. He's going to clean out the inside of the cup. And it's scary. You don't know what it is. So this is where the sorrow. They were so sorry, and they were so sorry or so scared. This always shows up. This is around 5, because it's talking about the brethren and the skin. And it's just funny about that because, this is how it works. That's what number 2 is, the skin and the spirit. So 1 represents, the skin, which is the flesh. The flesh is weak. The spirit is willing. All right. But the flesh is weak. And that's what I wanted to talk on today. It's being timely and everything like that. And, anyways, I wanted to read something to you. I wanted to read a passage from the Bible about Jesus. And we're going to talk about it. Matthew 26, verse 40. All right. Now, number 26, 6 and 2 is 8. So it's about control. And 4 is about, because 40 would be a 4. 4 is the world or change. All right. Or travel. It's usually the 4 corners. So it has something to do with worlds and kingdoms. And it's these kingdoms that we have to go from the way we think as a left-minded or half-brain, two-minded individual into becoming this one that we've talked about as God, as being, God is Elohim, mother and father, male and female. To honor them is to bring them together by use of this child. And we're the only ones that can do this. So 4 is the world, and so this would represent, when you did the 3, then 4 would be, wow, this is the new you, that you got connected, you met her, all right? Which is pretty interesting, okay? Matthew 26:40, we got an airplane. We had to just wait for that to go. And He took with Him Peter, This is starting at number 37. I believe that's an 11. 7, 8, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it's 1. That's what it is. So 1. And he took with him Peter, which is Petra, and 2 sons of Zebedee, and began to be sorrowful and very heavy. And then we have 11, which is 2. Then saith he unto them, my soul is exceedingly sorrowful, even unto death. Tarry ye here, and watch with me. And he went a little further, and he fell on his face, and he prayed, saying, O my Father, if it be possible, let this cup pass from me. Nevertheless, it's not as I will, but as thou wilt. And he cometh unto the disciples, and findeth them asleep. And said unto Peter, what? Could ye not watch with me 1 hour? Watch and pray, that ye enter not into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. He went away, and again, 2nd time, and praying, saying, O my Father, if this cup may not pass away from me, except I drink it. Thy will be done. And he came and found them asleep again, for their eyes were heavy. Pretty interesting stuff. So hang on a moment. Oh, Father, this is he went away again for the 2nd time praying, 4, 5, 6, 4, and 5. So 41 is representing the skin. And so what happens is he came back unto the disciples. That's the 4. So he came back to this world and found them asleep. And he said unto Peter, can't you watch with me 1 hour? Number 41, which represents 5. Watch and pray that ye enter not into temptation. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. All right, so 42 becomes a 6. So he went away again for a 2nd time, praying and saying, "Oh my Father, if this not be this, take this cup from me." And what he did is he came back and he found them asleep again. And this is on 43. So 4, 5, 6, 7. So he didn't make it over. He was brought back. So what keeps bringing Jesus back? If his disciples, the skin, it's always pulling him back. And even whenever he makes it up there later on and he's tempted by the devil, that he's representing the same story of this skin coming to stop him from taking this trip. All right. This is no different than the story of from years ago, whenever I did it here, but Sodom and Gomorrah, when men of the town keep knocking at the door and they won't let him go. They want those angels. They don't want this to happen. And so, what you're doing is you've got to take this inheritance. You're stealing the inheritance because you have to betray the flesh. Okay, where are you guys at? I can't stand this talking out in the open. Oop, almost turned you off. In the stories, in one of the stories, like Matthew, it has to do with just the body, number 6 or something like that. But give me a second, it'll come to me. But it has to do with, the disciples wanted to know who the greatest in heaven is. And Jesus starts talking. He brought a child. He brought a child over to talk to him. He's like, here, these are what's greatest in heaven. And so he also goes on to tell these stories about brethren, and about your brother. If you don't forgive your brother 7.7 times, this is how many times you can forgive your brother. If you don't forgive your brother for his trespass, because it's your brother that's taking the inheritance away from the left side. It's taking it from him. This is Jacob taken away from Esau. Jacob becomes Israel. And he has to run from Esau. All right, it's the same thing that, when you're favored by the father, the other guy gets really mad. He just gets really pissed off. This is how it happens. Wants to kill this other side. No, I don't want this. I want to run free. I don't want to have this bound in me. I don't want. But see, when you look at it that way, it's wrong. We found that in the long run, what happens is there's no control. There's only an aid. Instead of just a half-minded person, you're both minds working together now, mother and father. And they didn't come in to control you. They came in to assist you. Do you understand that? So, you have to get past all of this. You have to learn to trust in yourself. And all this stuff will work out. And that's what we teach here in the story. So the brother that you have to forgive is also the dark side. You have to love both sides. You have to understand that the teachings of both God and the devil, they're teachers. Without either one of them, we all disappear. There's nothing. There would be absolutely nothing. So this antagonistic energy force is what makes the whole world go around. And it just happens to run off of a lot of people's blood, and anxiety, and hatred and scare. I mean, there's just all this negative energy that helps rule this earth, but it only takes a little bit of light to keep everything in check. So that's the Bible is set up to trap a lot of people. It becomes what they said it's a snare. And as long as you wish to be led around, that's what you're going to get. So this whole idea, thinking that it's demonic to go inside and find her and hook up with her wisdom instead of tossing your silver cup out to the street, you would find that it's the will of the Father. It's your will. If you want to go and follow mankind and be fooled by its whore, if you think that that's God, go ahead, have a ball. That's what it's meant for. You're meant for the outside. You're a grazing animal, and you'd never go further than the surface. The symbology is beautiful. All right. Now, if you do what you ask, and you've had enough, like Buddha and all these other people, and many people in the past, but not very many that we know of. How do we know? Make it over to this other side and see this thing for what it really is. We don't see God as being a man anymore. We see it as an energy, and we see him as us. We're the one through us. This energy of God, Elohim, exists. So it's not the gold in the temple that's so important in God's eyes. It's the temple. You are the most important thing in the whole world. And so it's really nice. This is all beautiful stuff. And it chases the blues away. All right? That's how it works. So anyways, that's what we do here on this channel. It's teach you what it means to send your brother to do. It's actually the child to do your bidding for you, to do your finding, and to come across with this as he's the one, this child that's going to cross this over to this other side. Put it in his hands, and everything's going to be just fine. It's a conscious baton. When you're a relay, you give up yourself to this energy, then this little energy gives itself up to Jesus, meets him in the air. That's theta frequency in our conscious. And then Jesus delivers us up to our mother, to the right side of the boat. And she connects us to dad, mom and dad, and the kid are all together, one. Now you're cooking, God. Happy Easter. We'll be back before Easter happens, before they kill the guy, all right? Before we kill him, you and I'll get in there. We'll stop this murder before it happens. Yes, sir, we will. Well, the real murder, all right? we're going to talk about that. How do we go about killing the Christ, and what do we actually worship of now? You know, we found out in Revelations a long time ago. And this was before I got bit by this bug. All right, I was reading what I knew. I'd like to go and read it again, but I cried. You know, I just got this image that we worship this dead Christ on a stick. You know, that's the dead in us. The world is made to worship death. It's kind of freaky and awful, but the truth. And it's not an opinion. We got that from our Bible. All right. Chat with you soon. I love y'all. Really do. Get over to see your mom as soon as possible.